All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Of course, you can check us out on the app as well, and all the archive footage right here on 1010XL.com. And the app, of course, we're live on Facebook. Hello, 1010XL's Facebook page, and all you Facebook people out there, of course, and all on my personal page as well. Great to be here. Great to be alive. Brought to you by my good friends, The Carpet Man. Make sure you check them out for all your flooring needs. Highest quality, lowest prices, great delivery. Just a great, well-run business here in Jacksonville in Northeast Florida. And make sure you check out that LVP, that luxury vinyl planking. You cannot, I'm telling you right now, best quality at prices you can't find anywhere else. I'm just going to leave it at that. Check it out for yourself. Happy Cinco de Mayo if, you participate. I found out this morning that it doesn't mean the independence of Mexico. I don't know what it means, but who cares? It's a cool holiday, and it falls on a Friday. Regardless if it's Cinco de Mayo, hola. But if it is, que pasa? Hey, Graham, how you doing, dude? What's happening?
Regardless if it's Cinco de Mayo, hola.
Hola. Hope you're doing well out there. Regardless, my oldest daughter, Avery Ann, is graduating from Flagler College tomorrow, and we are very excited, thank you, and proud of her, and we're looking forward to celebrating her this weekend. So after this show, hauling Bud home, loading up the vehicle, and we're going to St. Augustine for the weekend to celebrate the graduation. Going to be a great time.
Sounds just like the worst weekend ever.
I know, in St. Aug. Jeez, what are we going to do?
Graduation, celebration, right. St. Augustine in May.
Yeah, exactly.
You live a tough life, Tommy.
Yeah, no, and then it gets even better. So then we get home on Sunday. We go right to the Tom Coughlin J Fund dinner at the Players Clubhouse, which is always a great event. And then Monday is the golf tournament. So I'll be out there as well doing all that and emceeing the luncheon as I've done probably the last 15 years. So it's going to be great, 4 days. And if I may, last night, my youngest lioness, Harley May, kicked ass on stage at the La Villa School of the Arts dance year-end recital, or whatever they call it, show. It was very, very good, very entertaining. So got a lot going on in the McManus household, baby.
Shout out La Villa, shout out DA.
Shout out
we're a big La Villa DA podcast here.
Yeah.
My girlfriend went to DA, so.
Oh, so did my wife, absolutely. DA under fire right now, but that's all right. We'll talk about that another time. Let's get into some sports. We're going to get into Kyle Brandt's tier rankings. I'm not going to rip them too hard, but I do want to go through it, and we'll talk about it. Like, where do you put him? What tier do you put him in? I know where I put him, but we'll talk about that. Trevor answers on Twitter, and I got a point to make about that. I have no problem with it, whatever, but I'm going to tell Trevor a little story, and we'll take a look around the National Football League, including a couple signings that I found very interesting throughout the NFL. But I got to start with this. So yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before, I watched the documentary Malice at the Palace. Have you seen this yet?
I have not seen the documentary, but
I'm
very familiar with the situation.
So my youngest comes home. She's from dance. It's like 9 o'clock. I'm watching the end. They're just getting into the fight part. Like, there's a backstory to this whole thing. First of all, Ron Artest, he doesn't seem like there's something like he's going through some stuff. He still is. It seems like, hope he's doing okay. But you could tell he was going through some stuff. Ben Wallace was going through some stuff, who was on the Detroit Pistons, and all this stuff just going on. They had no police there. I mean, it was just, wow, this thing could have turned into craziness. And I said to my Harley, Harley, come check this out. And after she watched it, she goes, oh my gosh. That really happened? I'm like, yes, that really happened. And it's funny, that was 2004. I just gotten on the air, and I was for the players. I was. Fans aren't allowed to throw stuff at a play, especially in a basketball game. You throw something at a football player who's got a helmet on, and he's not going to be able to get to you anyway. So he's going to be like, whatever, or maybe he tries. I doubt he's going to go up in the stands, but in a basketball game, you throw a glass or a plastic cup. And it was funny. So, like, who was it? It was Jermaine O'Neal, it was Steven Jackson, and it was the shooter. Who's that? Him and his sister, Reggie Miller, 3-point, and he's like, out of the corner of my eye, I see it coming. The cup. as Ron Artest is laying on the table and whack. Anyway, I get on the air and I'm like, I'm all for the player. You can't do that. You know, that's just, I would have gone in the stands. So, well, of course, people got their panties in a while. Like, you can't say that. You can't, no matter what they do, you can't go into the stands. I still, to this day, I would have gone in the stand. And by the way, Steven Jackson, who I've never met in my life, he is one of my favorite people to listen to. And I would have loved him as a teammate. You know why? Because he went right in after Ron Artest. And he even explained why he threw the punch. A guy doused Artest with a beer right in his face. And it was a great punch, too, man. I love that. That's what teammates do, man. You go, friends, whatever. If it's go time, it's freaking go time. And you may not agree with me or not. It doesn't matter. I would have gone in if I'm Ron Artest, and I would have definitely gone in if I was Steven Jackson. So I tell you, then it got crazy. I mean, the fan came down on the floor, and he he's like, what you got to Ron? And by the way, Ron hit him, and the guy didn't go down. So I wasn't impressed with that punch, Ron. That should have been a little bit better. But nonetheless, that was.
Or are you impressed with the fans' ability to take a punch and stay up?
I was very impressed by that. I mean, you got a chin. I got all the respect in the world. Nothing worse than hitting somebody in the face and nothing happens to them.
If you're telling a pro athlete to square up, you better have a chin.
You better have it. You better have something. But nonetheless, I thought that was very entertaining. If you haven't seen it, check it out, because there's some backstories. And then Ron Artest left the next year. Like, they had a really good team. They were pretty loaded up. The owner's on there going, I really took a chance and I made a mistake, because you had Ron, who's from the street. You had Steven Jackson, who's totally from the street, and I just love his attitude. Go watch it. I came away a big fan of Steven Jackson.
Was it 2003 that Pistons team won the finals? They won the finals around that time.
They won it the next year, maybe, without Ron Artest. No, Ron went to the Lakers and won it as World Meta Peace. Changed his name.
Meta World Peace.
World Peace, yeah. And he explained why he did it. It was, I don't know. Anyway, very fascinating.
And he got in some
loved it.
He got in some other on-court altercations throughout the rest of his. Do you remember him elbowing James Harden?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was in his Laker days.
He was an enforcer who could shoot and play. He was a really good player.
James Harden was behind him, and I don't know if James Harden did something he didn't appreciate or whatever, but he gave him an elbow.
Yeah.
He gave him an elbow right to the temple.
Yeah.
Knocked his ass to the ground.
I did that in 8th grade in a basketball game. Right in the eye.
Really? Oh,
yeah, he wouldn't leave me alone. I said, quit touching me. Finally went, well, pow, and just dinking right there.
Oof.
I got thrown out of the game. I've gotten a lot of trouble. So we'll just leave it at that. All right, let's get into some football rankings, shall we, from Kyle Brandt. So he's on the NFL Network, right, I believe. He's got these tier rankings. We'll just look at the AFC tier rankings. You probably heard it. I'm not gonna complain about it, but I want to look at it and see what you think. So he's got tier 1 Mahomes by himself. I think that's pretty accurate. I do. I think Mahomes by himself, the way he's been. And this is what to look for in 2023. Who's going to be whatever. Now, tier 2, or how they're ranked right now. I think that's even probably a more accurate statement. So tier 2, they got Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. I think Josh Allen's got a lot to prove this year. Joe Burrow for sure. I think Josh Allen, and I like Josh Allen a lot, but he didn't finish strong last year. I want to see more out of him. I got to see him take a little bit more, but he's obviously one of the best. I don't really have a problem with him at tier 2. Tier 3, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Herbert. Deshaun Jackson, it depends which one you get. I could see him very easily lower. Without a doubt, because I don't know, is he going to stay healthy? Look, is he a great quarterback? He is. Has he played great consistently since he's won the 2019 MVP? I don't think he has. He's been good, really great at times, and he's been and then he's been hurt, and then he obviously took time off. He didn't, miss some time last year, so I don't know with Jack. I hope he has a great year. He says he's going to throw for 6,000 yards. I don't think he'll get to that level, but he is a great player, and I do hope he has a great year. But I wouldn't have him that high. I wouldn't. I think Aaron Rodgers, it's boom or bust. Will he regain the magic? He's got all the tools still. There's no doubt about that. It's funny. Who put out the video? Him throwing a quick, little slant route to Garrett Wilson. It's look at this slow motion. I'm like, they're not even pads. There's. So what? Like, he better be able to make a throw when nobody's in his freaking face and right on the money.
It's like all the pro day throws or people freak out.
Come on. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I think Rodgers, based on the year, now you're going to call me crazy. If he has a great year, you could jump him up and put him on the same level as Mahomes, I think. He's been an MVP 2 out of the last 3 years. Last year, not the best, but obviously things, with new players and things not going whatever. Again, it's boom or bust. He's either going to have a really great year or years, or it's not going to work out that great. And you never know with that chemistry. You just never know. I don't care how good they are. You just never know when they go to a new team.
I hear what you're saying. My problem with that is Mahomes is winning championships.
Well, the boom would be, at least getting far in the playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't just have a good year. It's got to be leading his team. So, okay, maybe I put him at level 2. I'd move him up.
Yeah, that level 2,
That's
you could
fair.
even justify
Burrow and Allen if he has a big year. And I think Herbert too. And look, if Lamar has a big year, of course, he's right up there as well. All right, tier 4, Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson. Now we're going based on what? This is where it gets a little, what are we going? Based on what we think, what we saw, what we witnessed, or what he did in the past? In the past, yeah, phenomenal. Last year, no. Now, granted, he's got Sean Payton, so you're going to think that Russell Wilson's going to have a great year. Still got all the tools, don't get me wrong, but you saw last year, he was way out of sync. He was way out of whack. I mean, he was I remember watching pregame shows and them showing these guys wide open. He's not even looking at them. Like, he's not even throwing it to them. So I would expect that to be better, but I don't know. I got Trevor higher. And the route he's on, come on. Pickett, Mac Jones. No disrespect to those two guys, but they're not as good as Trevor. And Tua's better, but I think Trevor's way better than Tua. Jimmy G's 5th. Hey, man, don't be calling me. I'm busy. Can you see that? Jimmy G is on the 5th tier. And I like Jimmy G, and I can win with Jimmy G. But is he a better quarterback at this time than Trevor Lawrence? I don't know. So where would you put him? Let me ask. I'll give you the first crack at it, Grim. And then just to finish it out, tier 7's the young dude. So this is just AFC. It's not NFC. So Jalen Hurts isn't in there, of course. Bryce to Carolina.
Bryce Young,
thank you. He's not in there, just AFC guys. But where would you put Trevor?
I would put Trevor in, I believe, in Kyle's tiers. It was tier 3. It was that Aaron Rodgers, Lamar, Herbert.
Yeah, if you got Herbert there, I think you got to have.
That's the tier I'd have Trevor Lawrence in.
That's fair.
I believe that Joe Burrow and Josh Allen have enough of a body of work that goes back more than one season.
Yep.
To give them an extra tier above Trevor.
Yeah.
And then I think Mahomes has done enough to consider himself
on a tier by himself. Yeah.
On a tier by himself.
I think
think
fair.
that when you look at who else is on that tier 3 and how they've been recently, I think Trevor Lawrence has an argument against every last one of the quarterbacks that Kyle put in that tier where you could say Trevor is arguably better than those players.
Yeah. Well, look, for me, if you're going to put Herbert on the 3rd tier, you put Lawrence on the 3rd tier because they're 1A, 1B. If you're going to, they're pretty close, I think. And you can make an argument that, hey, Herbert has had better weapons, right? They throw the ball more downfield, yada, yada, yada. Well, that's no longer. We've got plenty of weapons, and the way Trevor finished the year and played throughout the pretty much. He had that lull, of course, had that 5-game span. We didn't, couple games he played well, 3 games he didn't play well, but then finished very good. I think a lot of that is just his development and his familiarity with the play call. And here's the big thing about, and I said this on Jaguars today. So you look at Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. Last year was their first year together. Trevor, I'm not calling it Trevor's rookie year. Everyone says it's just a rookie. No, he played a rookie year. He got a lot of experience, good or bad. He got experience, and look, it's helped in his development. Of course, what Doug Peterson and the staff has been able to do with Trevor Lawrence and that development, the offense is extraordinary. There's no doubt about it. But here's the deal. It's 1 year that every defense they went against never saw that before, right? You can watch, look, if you're playing them in the 14th week, you're watching games throughout that, up until that 14th week, but they don't have a body of work for a year. So my point is this, we see it a lot with rookie quarterbacks. They could have a great rookie year, phenomenal. And then that second year is a little struggle, right? Or even a bigger struggle. Because why? Because defensive coordinators do what? They study the film. They study the tendencies. They study all that stuff. And they're going to do the same with Doug Peterson's offense and with Doug Peterson's quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. So I think they'll break through it because I think Doug's really smart. I think he's kind of a, he's really smart in how he calls plays, how he gets the most out of his players' abilities, how he, puts them in positions to win, to succeed. I think that's going to continue to go, but it has to be shown, of course. So there will be defensive. They've been doing it. They've been studying Trevor. They've been studying Trevor in Doug's offense now ever since the season ended, if not before. So that's going to be something I want to see, and I think they'll do it. Don't get me wrong. I think they'll do it, but you got to break through that game plan. If you break through that game plan, and then they can't stop you, and then you throw them off balance because you got different calls, and next thing you know, they're guessing, boom, you got them right where you want them. So it should be an interesting, at least, development throughout 2023.
I'm looking through this list again. I wanted to pull it up real quick and kind of just review what we just talked about with Kyle Brandt's list. Mm-hmm. Doesn't it look like he made this? Like, if I didn't tell you what year this was made, it looks like he made it a year early. Or a year late, I should say. Like, it looks like he made this after the 2021. Doesn't
how you have Pickett and Trevor? Come on. There's no disrespect to Pickett. We'll see what he can do. In years to come, but he doesn't have the same skill set as Trevor Lawrence. That's
kind of what I'm saying. It's like with this tier, like last year, if we were to let's say we could jump in a time machine and go 1 year back, okay, right. 365 days back, and we were doing this podcast. I think we'd agree Mahomes would be on a tier by himself.
Okay.
Burrow and Allen would make sense right below that.
You know what? I would say, if I may, prior to last year, I'd have Mahomes and Allen together. I think prior to this past year, I think Mahomes pulled away from Allen. And again, Allen didn't finish as great as he wanted him to. It wasn't terrible by any means, but it wasn't as great as he wanted to. I think he would have been, and then Joe Burrow by himself, or number 2, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not. I don't disagree with that.
Let me throw this at you. Let's flip this around, if we may. I'm going to give you Trevor Lawrence and another quarterback. You tell me who you want as your QB. For this team. For any team. If you're building a team, let's do this. You're building a team, and you're going to start with quarterback.
Okay, so I have the future in mind as well.
You have everything in mind. So it's going to be somebody else and Trevor. Okay? Tua, Trevor. Good answer. Deshaun Watson, Trevor. Aaron Rodgers, Trevor.
Because of age.
Justin Herbert, Trevor. Good one-on-one. I'm going Trevor because of his legs. I think he makes more plays he's more of a gamer in that regard. But
I would say they're dead even, and then I give Trevor the nod because he's beaten Justin Herbert twice.
Okay, fair enough. Jimmy G.
Trevor, easy.
How about to win in the next 2 years?
Trevor.
Okay, I agree with that. Josh Allen. You're looking ahead, too. I probably go, that's tough. He is so good. I like that kid a lot.
I do,
but too. I like Trevor a lot. I think Trevor really came into his own, taking off and running, being tough, making play, more street kind of Trevor. What did I say all last year? Play Trevor ball.
Right.
Play like you're playing in the street. And, he started really.
I also think Josh almost does that a little too much.
Yeah, but.
When I watch Josh play, I worry about him in year 6, year 7, year 8. Because he's hurtling. Like
Trevor will run. Legs hold up.
Agreed.
He's a big guy. He could take a beating. He walk in his store, you'd be like, you're a quarterback?
Right, exactly.
Like, you look like a defensive end for crying out loud.
Like Trevor will run.
Yeah.
But Trevor runs more like a normal quarterback runs.
Yeah, right.
Like when there's space, he takes it. Maybe if he thinks he can, might try to juke a guy out or something, and then he'll slide.
They started doing some planned runs that end of round, where he keeps the ball and takes off running. Right. That was pretty effective.
Mahomes is on a different level, but he still runs like a quarterback. He runs without the intention of getting hit, really.
Yeah,
ever.
Right.
If he gets hit, that's not what was supposed to happen.
I still want to know how he ran away from those defenders.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable with a bum ankle, supposedly.
Crying on that end of the shoulder of the coach. Oh, my God.
Right.
And then nobody can catch him.
But Allen
The reason Allen worries me whenever we fast forward to year 6, 7, 8 is he's hurdling people, he's trucking people, he's hitting linebackers. And when you're in year 3, and you're 24, 25 years old, that's great.
Yeah.
But when he's 30, so longevity-wise, I worry a little bit with Josh, even though he hasn't been super injured so far. So I guess it might not be fair to say that. But I would probably pick Trevor because of the longevity part.
Okay. How about Burrow?
Burrow.
And then Mahomes, you taking Mahomes.
Yeah.
What about Lamar Jackson?
Trevor.
Yeah, I'm taking Trevor too. Okay.
We're
about the same.
The only two that I think Trevor doesn't yet have an argument against is Burrow and Mahomes. Everybody else, it's worth talking about.
With that being said, I think Russell Wilson's due for a big year. And I think Sean Payton's going to get a lot out of him. I'd still pick Trevor, don't get me wrong, but I think Russell's going to move up. He had a bad year. Prior to this year, you'd probably have him higher. I mean, last year. Prior to last year, in Seattle, you'd probably have him higher, right?
100%.
He was phenomenal.
That's part of why I was saying I felt like this list is a year outdated.
Yeah, okay. Fair. The other guy, look, and Rodgers with Nathaniel Hackett, who had him in Green Bay. And can he get him back to an MVP level? If he is, you move him up. So, but we're in a great spot. Trevor's in a great spot. Now, Trevor, he answers on Twitter, games not played on paper, something like that. So I'll just tell you this. I was told, I'm not going to tell you who told me this, but I got in an argument once. It was not with an employer, but at a place of employment. And he said to me, the guy in charge, again, I don't want to give it away. He said to me, he goes, you ever hear this story about the eagle and the fly? And I said, no. He goes, well, the eagle doesn't care about the fly. I said, okay. He goes, in this situation, you're the eagle. I said, okay, that kind of makes sense, right? No, just basically don't worry about it. Like, who cares what this person has to say, right? Or what they think. It doesn't matter. They're the fly and you're the eagle. I'm like, all right, great, I'm the eagle. So, but I got it. So, looking at who cares? Who cares what Kyle Brandt or anybody says? And I know in social media today, you feel like you have. I'm the same way. Like if someone says anything remotely, like I think it's like an attack or offensive, I'm coming back. I might even take it the wrong way, because text, you never know the tone in text or tweets. So anyway, don't worry about these guys, man. And if someone else is handling your Twitter, tell them to knock it off. Nobody gives a crap what Kyle Brandt has to say. No disrespect to Kyle. He's got a job to do. But do we really care? I mean, who really cares at the end of the day? I know I don't. I think we've got the right quarterback with the right coach, with the right system, with the right weapons, and in the right city. So that's all that really matters when it comes down to it.
I agree with you 100%, unless this is a Michael Jordan situation with Trevor where he just looks for any possible thing to give him that extra edge and it just makes him ball out.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, then by all means go through Twitter and find all the negative stuff, and it's easier than it's ever been to find negative things.
Yeah. I just wouldn't let it bother me. Don't even answer that stuff. Who cares?
More than likely, you are correct, and the best way to handle this is to say, screw them. Yeah. I don't care. We're playing ball.
Right. I liked my response on Twitter. Did you see it?
I did not.
Yeah, basically, that's what I think about that. Yeah. Tier this, buddy. Anyway, we'll move on. Let's see. Parker Washington gets his deal done. 6th-round pick out of Penn State. Nice deal. 4-year deal. Good for him. Around the league, interesting. Donovan Smith goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. 1 year, $8 million, up to $9 million. Sorry. Who's left tackle? Who's right tackle up in Kansas City? We thought it was going to be Jawan Taylor. Donovan Smith is a left tackle. Does Jawan Taylor go back? That's it. How about this? Jawan Taylor, $60 million guaranteed. Donovan Smith up to $9 million maybe. Who's the left? Who's what if Jawan's the right? Because Smith is better at left. Can be interesting. Interesting. Hey, great. He gets another shot at it. Last year, not a good year for Donovan Smith. Had some injuries, supposedly, but he's going to have to turn that around. I've said, hey, Lamar gets his deal. Good for Lamar. Glad it's over. Bills get their stadium, at least not new stadium yet, but it looks like they're going to have that deal done, which means what? The Jaguars are up next, so expect some of that. I think that's exciting as well. I want to end it with this time around because I do have to get going. Dexter Lawrence gets a 4-year, $90 million deal, $60 million in guaranteed money from the New York Giants. Dexter Lawrence, of course, a 3 technique. I'm not talking about the money because I don't really care, but I tell you what, when you look at a 3 technique, when you look at a dominating defensive line, a dominating defensive lineman like Dexter Lawrence, and more dominating last year than ever, let's be honest. But it can do wonders for your team. So I'm calling out today the 3 guys that they re-signed and that redid their deals that are going to be their starting interior threat. I'm not calling them out. It's more of a shot of let's effing go. Foley, Fatukasi, Devon Hamilton, Roy Robinson Harris. Those are our 2 big ends and our nose tackle. You guys got to dominate this year. And maybe you don't dominate every single snap of every single game, but overall, when we look back, we've got to see a wrecking crew. We got to see that interior of this defense stopping the run, helping get it off the field on 3rd down, being very good on 1st down, not getting pushed. We don't want to wait till the last part of the season till we turn it on. It's got to be turned on from the get-go. I know you feel it. I know you want it, and you hope that's going to happen. But it's got to happen, in my opinion, for this team to take that next step. Look, I think the offense is in good shape. The only question I have on offense is that offensive line. Will it be as good again? Will it be as healthy as it was prior to, of course, Cam's injury? Look, overall, you go back and look at the stats of our offensive line. 4.7 yards per carry on the run game. And then 27 sacks given up. That's a phenomenal year. Can they match it again? Can they match it again? I love Phil Rosher. I think he's the key ingredient, and we'll see with the new addition of Anton Harrison. And then, of course, you've got Walker. And then, look, Shatley's shown he can play guard, and get the job done. Of course, you also got some depth. Josh Wells at tackle, and you got Ben Barch, who's coming off the knee injury, and we wish him well. But I'm telling you right now, that offensive line always matters, and our defensive line matters. And by the way, you 3 guys, you do your job. I'm talking about Foley, Hamilton, and RRH. The outside pressure will come. It'll come. That will help a ton to get this defense better on 3rd down. Offense did their job, 41-point-something% on 3rd down. That's very good. Defense was at 43% given up. Not very good. Got to drop that by 10%. You 3 guys can be critical in that development of your defense. And that's why they brought you back. They're counting on you playing as good as you did that final month. So I'm counting on it too. We're all counting on it. And I think it's going to be good. I still think Hamilton, I want to see him over a guard. I want to see him just bury people as a DT over a guard. I think that would be interesting to do. But nonetheless, we'll let them figure out. The Mike Caldwell and company figured out they are much smarter than I am. All right, that's going to do it for me this time around. Happy Friday to you out there. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Should be some nice weather. Of course, shout out to my Avery Ann, who will be graduating. And, of course, my number 2, Kelsey Marie, who turns 19 on Monday. So we got a big call with her today about some dance opportunities up in Massachusetts. So we're looking forward to that. And then it's party time down in St. Augustine. I do want to say congratulations to all the college and high school graduates of 2023. So until next time, stay safe out there and be cool, man. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Peace.